In a world full of chaos, wisdom stands the test of time. Welcome to my channel where ancient philosophy meets modern life. Here we explore timeless wisdom, practical mindset shifts, and the art of resilience. If you're ready to master your emotions, sharpen your mind, and embrace the stoic way, you're in the right place. Subscribe and let's walk this path together. Women are complex when it comes to attraction, especially when they're already in a committed relationship. Most married women won't come right out and say they're interested in another man, but their actions, their body language, and the little things they do can reveal the truth. These signs are often subtle, so subtle that many men miss them completely. But make no mistake, if a married woman is drawn to someone outside her marriage, she'll drop certain hints that, when you know what to look for, become impossible to ignore. In this video, we're breaking down the subtle signs every married woman sends when she's attracted to another man. Now, before we dive in, it's important to understand that not every friendly married woman is interested in someone else. But when a woman starts displaying multiple subtle behaviors, it could mean she's feeling a pull toward another man. The first sign is subtle physical contact. There's a difference between casual touches and the kind that linger just a little too long. When a married woman is attracted to another man, she might find small subtle ways to make physical contact, almost like testing the waters, without making it obvious. It's never something too bold, but just enough to make you notice. Maybe she lightly touches your arm when laughing at a joke, lets her fingers brush against yours when handing you something, or stands just a little closer than necessary in a conversation. These moments might seem innocent, but if they happen often, they could be a sign of attraction. For instance, imagine you're at a work event, and as she reaches past you to grab something, her hand gently rests on your shoulder for just a second longer than it needs to. It's quick, it's subtle, but you can feel there's more to it. That's how attraction plays out in the smallest, quietest ways, through those almost accidental yet deliberate touches that leave you wondering if there's something more behind them. Number 2, subtly tests boundaries. Some women won't come right out and say they're attracted to you, but they will test the waters to see where you stand. A married woman who feels a spark with another man might subtly bring up topics related to relationships, attraction, or even cheating, not in an obvious way, but just enough to gauge your reaction. She might ask things like, "Do you think men and women can be just friends?" Or, "Have you ever been attracted to someone who was taken?" These questions seem innocent, but they reveal what's on her mind. She could also playfully flirt to see how you respond, maybe jokingly calling you trouble, or saying something like, "If I weren't married, who knows what could happen." A recent study showed that people who are emotionally or physically attracted to someone outside their relationship often use indirect conversation to explore potential interest while keeping plausible deniability. This means she's testing whether you'll engage in the flirting or shut it down. If she senses you're receptive, she may push things further, slowly shifting from harmless banter to more personal or suggestive conversations. It's her way of seeing if the door is open without having to knock too loudly. Third, adjust her appearance. Sometimes attraction shows in the smallest details, like how she suddenly starts adjusting her appearance. When you're around a married woman who feels drawn to another man, might not even realize she's doing it, but the moment she sees you, she instinctively fixes her hair, smooths her outfit, or checks her reflection. It's a subconscious way of making sure she looks her best for you. She might refresh her lipstick, adjust her necklace, or even sit up straighter when you walk into the room. It's not just about looking presentable, it's about standing out to you. For example, if you're having a conversation and she tucks her hair behind her ear, adjusts her dress, or lightly touches her neck while maintaining eye contact. Those are all subtle ways she's trying to get your attention. It's as if your presence flips a switch, making her more aware of how she looks and how you see her. Fourth, energy shifts when you're around. Attraction isn't always about words. Sometimes it's in the way someone's energy completely shifts. When you're around a married woman who feels drawn to another man, might not say anything outright, but you'll notice a change in how she acts the moment you enter the room. Maybe she was quiet or distracted before, but suddenly she sits up straighter. Her eyes light up, and she becomes more engaged in the conversation. Her tone becomes livelier. She laughs more easily, and she seems genuinely happy to be in your presence, even if she doesn't directly interact with you. Might catch her glancing your way or positioning herself so she's closer to where you are. A recent study showed that when people are subconsciously attracted to someone, their body language and energy levels naturally become more positive and alert in that person's presence. It's an instinctive reaction, and she may not even realize she's doing it, but the way she reacts to you speaks volumes. If she was feeling tired or unbothered before, yet suddenly seems full of life when you show up, it's a strong sign you have an effect on her. Number 5 complains about her marriage or husband. When a married woman starts sharing personal details about problems in her marriage, it's often more than just venting. It can be a subtle way of signaling emotional availability. She might bring up how she feels unappreciated, how the romance has faded, or how she and her husband have grown distant. These conversations create a sense of vulnerability and invite emotional connection, especially if she's sharing these details with you and not just anyone. She may phrase it in a way that seems casual, saying things like, "Marriage isn't what I thought it would be," or "Sometimes I feel like I'm just going through the motions." The more she talks about what's lacking in her relationship, the more she's opening the door for you to understand her on a deeper level. In some cases, she might even compare you to her husband, highlighting things you do that she wishes he would. This isn't always intentional, but it's a way of expressing admiration and possibly attraction. If she's consistently sharing these thoughts with you, it's a strong sign. She sees you as someone she can connect with on an emotional and maybe even a romantic level. 6. Flirtatious messages. Not all messages are just friendly. Some have a little extra X-ray hidden between the lines. When a married woman is attracted to another man, she might send texts or messages that feel playful, teasing, or a little too personal for just a casual chat. She won't come right out and say it, but the way she words things, adds emojis, or keeps the conversation going longer than necessary can be a sign of interest. Maybe she texts you late at night with a random thought, or she finds reasons to message you even when there's nothing important to say. For example, she might send something like, "I swear you always know how to make me laugh. What would I do without you?" Which sounds friendly but has a flirty undertone. Or maybe she texts, "I just heard this song and it totally reminded me of you," which makes you wonder why you're on her mind. These kinds of messages create a connection, testing the boundaries of something that might be more than just friendship. Number 7, frequent mention. Sometimes attraction shows up in the way she brings you up in conversations more often than you'd expect. A married woman has a thing for you. She might casually mention you in different situations, even when you're not around. She might tell her friends a funny story about something you said, reference your interests, or bring up your name when discussing random topics. It's not always obvious, but if she frequently finds ways to include you in conversation, it's a sign you're on her mind more than she lets on. For example, if her friends are talking about their weekend plans, she might casually say, "Oh, he mentioned this great new restaurant the other day. Maybe we should check it out." Or if someone is discussing movies, she could say, "He's really into this actor. He was just telling me about their best films." These mentions might seem harmless, but they show she's paying attention to the little things and keeping you in her thoughts. When someone repeatedly comes up in conversation, it's rarely by accident. It's because they've made an impression that's hard to ignore. In summary, married women who feel drawn to another man won't always say it outright, but their actions will always speak louder than words. If you've noticed these behaviors, it's important to be aware of the situation and handle it wisely. Thanks for watching.